British shows have to be one of the best in the world. Hey everyone, this is Ishu Mohan from Bibliomaniac Cinephile, and today we're gonna finally talk about a show that I've been obsessed with for quite some time now, The Crown. Written and created by Peter Morgan and produced by the big shots such as Stephen Daldry and Netflix original. The Crown is probably one of the biggest shows out there to have ever been created. You know, it's been compared to shows such as The Wire, Lost, Game of Thrones for that matter, in terms of the production value, in terms of the casting, in terms of the ensemble cast that they have, and in terms of how good the story is. For me, what the reason why I was taken aback or gobsmacked in a way after watching The Crown was because of the fact that they were so close to being accurate in the historical aspect, but at the same time, they maintained the drama aspect of the show. It's a drama show. It's a fictitious perception of what the royal family would be like. And I love how Peter Morgan is the reason that youngsters of today, youngsters of this generation, would perceive the royal family, or for that matter, the Queen, Elizabeth II, in a very different way. For me, at least, my perception or the way I looked at the Queen and the whole firm, the establishment of the monarchy, the way I perceived it to be, my perception changed entirely, right? And thanks to Peter Morgan and the crew and the acting that has been done by Claire Foy, Matt Smith, Victoria Hamilton, and many others, John Lithgow, and I don't know where to start exactly because that's how great this show is, and I'm very excited. I mean, I'm just blabbering shit now that I'm talking about it because that's how excited I am. And for me, this was a dream come true because I've always wanted a show that or a movie for that matter, anything that show talks about the royal family, the British royal family, and finally, Crown did it, right? And I watched the show pretty late, but better late than never. I did myself a favor, so please do yourself a favor and go and watch the show. But before I go on with anything, I just want to say that the writing in the show is impeccable, right? Because they've had to maintain, I mean, the dialogues. I'm not quite articulate in this video, I'm sorry, but I'm just messing this up. But anyways, the dialogue delivery in the show has had to be perfect because they have to maintain the timeline of what has happened back then. Because the first two shows follow the timeline. I'm talking about the first two seasons in particular because the next two seasons, the cast gets reincarnated entirely. And that's the way Peter Morgan wanted it to be, and I think he did the right job. So the first two seasons that follows the timeline of around 1947 to 1963, around that time. The language that was used back then for conversing was way more different, and the English that has been used in this particular show is so beautiful, and the way it's been scripted and the way the dialogues have been delivered. I haven't seen another show or I haven't seen another movie where the actors have done a better job, where the writers have done a better job, where the screenplay has done justice to the story or to the roles of the characters, right? And I love how they casted John Lithgow, an American, to play Winston Churchill. And I love how Peter Morgan described this as the Churchill fatigue, because there have been so many renditions of Churchill being played by Britishers, and he wanted an American perspective to it, and that's the reason he casted an American to play John Lithgow to play Winston Churchill, who's a huge figure out there. So he had this added-on pressure of not messing it up, because Winston Churchill is pretty much the father of the United Kingdom, and he's the reason why he's considered to be one of the main reasons why World War II was won by the Allied forces, right? And he did not want to mess it up, and nobody wants to mess it up. And after many such renditions of Winston Churchill, especially by Gary Oldman, he had to keep it up. And John Lithgow, I have to say, has done a wonderful job. And Claire Foy, an actress who wasn't that well known before the series, was a good actress, was a pretty decent actress, but apparently she gave the audition to this particular show for this role of playing the Queen when she was pregnant, and she was due 4 months from then on, and they still gave her the chance. They gave her the leeway, they gave her the cushion of time, and they gave her the time to settle in, and they chose her for the talent that she had and for the work, for the body of work that she had behind her to support her. They respected it, and they gave her a chance to give this a shot, right? And Matt Smith, a person who plays Prince Philip, who just, I'm really sad to say, but someone who just passed away yesterday, sadly, has done such a wonderful job by playing him. And Victoria Hamilton as the Queen Mother, and Vanessa Kirby as Princess Margaret has to be one of the best portrayals ever, because such a difficult character to play, someone who's so vivid, colorful, and dynamic. You have the freedom to do certain things, but at the same time, you shouldn't cross the line or get overboard. But at the same time, like portray it in a responsible way, because they're a public figure, they're a political figure, but they're a monarchical figure, right? They're a regnal figure, and at the same time, portraying it in a very responsible but in a free, spirited manner was what Vanessa Kirby did, and I was deeply jaded and hurt by the fact that she did not win an Emmy for that, right? But she won a BAFTA, which she clearly deserved, and the whole cast sweeps so many awards, and I think this, after Game of Thrones, is probably one of the biggest shows out there, even in terms of achievements and accolades, because Claire Foy won the Best Actress in the Emmy Awards, at the Emmy Awards, and John Lithgow won the Best Supporting Actor at the Emmy Awards, and many other people were nominated, right? And I don't know, I can't, when I start jabbering about this show, I just can't stop, because that's how crazy I am about this. And Jared Harris, the person who plays, the actor who plays King George, he portrayed King George in such a beautiful way, because King George had a problem of stuttering or stammering. And after watching the King's speech, the bar raises, and despite that, he did it in a very seamless manner, as if nothing bothered him, and carried it in such a poised way, and in such a calm way. And the character was just alive for the first two, spoiler alert, but the character was just alive for the first two episodes, not even the whole episode of the second one, but left such a serious impact and had such a serious role to play, such an important role to play, that nobody has forgotten him, right? And for me, The Crown, if I'd want to explain the plot, I wouldn't exactly do that. I wouldn't explain the plot, I wouldn't spoil it for you guys, but for me, this is the dilemma that royal family, or even the whole world, is facing. It's a transition period from that show, and right now I'm in the 4th season, but I'll make a video about it later on. And for me, Claire Foy was a person who played Elizabeth as a person, and Olivia Colman was a person who played Queen, because the first 2 seasons, is a bit different. It's more about the personal aspect and the personal dilemmas. But the next two seasons is more about the crown, and more about raising that kid, and more about bringing up the family. So that's the difference, right? And how they handle the pressures of the modern era and the modern people who are kind of not that what to say, patient with the whole concept of having a monarch at a modern age. So that is what the next two seasons is about, and they obviously have Emma Louis Corrin playing Diana, and Josh O'Connor playing Prince Charles, and Princess Anne being played by Erin Doherty, and it's a whole different piece of cake. They're a whole different species altogether. But the first two seasons, I feel like it's this dilemma of transition, and at the same time, it's the ramifications and the consequences that England has had to face post colonialism and post the World War II and the World War One and World War II, and the consequences they've had to face after the abdication of Edward VIII. Again, played beautifully by an actor, by the actor who played Edward VIII, that we started hating him and getting disgusted, and everything, every tiny nuance and idiosyncrasies shown by the actors were just beautifully portrayed and beautifully shot. And for me, if I have to rate this show, it would be 8.7, or not even 8.7, I would say 9.5 out of 10 easily. And this show deserves way more praise than it actually gets. It has to be one of the best shows out there. And if there's one thing that I'm forgetting about, it would be the fact that they talk so much about the establishment and the small tiny issues that they had to face with the government, and every tiny character has been given equal importance, no matter even if it's just for a particular episode. And I don't know, man, it's such a beautiful show. You guys should definitely do yourself a favor and go and watch it, and you'll get to learn a lot. You'll enjoy it. And probably I'm just being a nerd right now, probably I'm just being a geek right now and a fanboy, but just go and watch it, right? I don't know if I'm forgetting anything in particular, but this is all I have to say about the show in particular right now. And we'll talk about the next two seasons in the upcoming week. I'll shoot a video and put it up, but this is it as of now. So have a wonderful day. Please like, share and subscribe. Comment and do give us your opinions, and give us any more suggestions as to what to do in the future videos, and if we have to improve in any particular forte or department. And thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.